Solving Rational Inequalities by 11 ABM Flickr. Before we straight head to solving rational inequality, I would like to introduce myself first. I am Angel Maydi de Lumbria, and in this video, we will find out what is rational inequality and how we are gonna solve it. A rational inequality is an inequality that contains rational expressions where a rational expression is a ratio of two polynomials. We have steps in solving rational inequalities, and now let's straight head to the steps solving it. Step 1. Writing inequality to single fraction. Step 2. Guessing the critical values, and then step 3. Creating a table, and lastly, step 4. Choosing a final answer. Here are the two given we're gonna solve. First given is 8x over x plus 3 is less than or equal to 2. Second given is 18x over x plus 4 is less than 2. Now that we already know what are the two given we have, let's straight head to solving our first rational inequality, and we needed a person who can help us to do that. And that is Shaila Melgar, who will help us to do the first step, which is rewriting inequality to single fraction.
Our first move here, we need to rewrite the inequality as a single fraction on one side and 0 on the other side. In our case, we will transpose the number 2 on the left side of the inequality, so we have 8x over x plus 3 minus 2 less than or equal to 0. Then after, we will rewrite it as a single fraction, so we know that our denominator is x plus 3, so x plus 3 divided by x plus 3 is 1, multiplied by numerator is 8x. Then we will divide x plus 3 by the denominator of negative 2, which we know that it has a number 1 here. So x plus 3 divided by 1 is x plus 3 times negative 2 is negative 2 times the quantity of x plus 3, then less than or equal to 0. Then we will simplify our numerator, then distribute the negative 2. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 2 times positive 3 is negative 6, less than or equal to 0. Combining like terms, the result is 6x minus 6 over x plus 3 less than or equal to 0. Now to head on our step 2, here is Miss Carla to discuss.
After writing the inequality as a single fraction, we will now get the critical values. First, we will equate your numerator by 0, same goes to the denominator. Then solving for x, since we have 6x and 6, we can transpose the equation. Therefore, we have divide by both 6. 6 divided by 6, cancel both 6, we will now have x. Next, divide by 6, you have 1, so your x equal to 1. And for x positive 3 equal to 0, we will just transpose this and we will have x equal negative 3. Here we have a number line divided into 3 intervals. Next, we will plot your negative 3 here on the left side. Then, the positive 1 on the right side. As you can see, your critical values divide 3 parts. The here is x greater than negative 3. Next is negative 3 greater than x less than 1. And lastly, x less than 1. To discuss your step 3, here is Miss Valencia and Miss Tobera.
And for now, we make a table. I am Miss Valencia together with Miss Tobera to explain step 3. To make a table, we need to put the 3 interval, which is x is less than negative 3, and negative 3 less than x less than 1, and x is greater than 1. After this, we need to get the test values. From x is less than negative 3, the test values is x equals to negative 4. And between negative 3 less than x less than 1, the test value is x equals to -1. And for the last, x is greater than 1, the test value is x equals to 2. After we get the test values, we need to apply the factors of the inequality. We have 3 factors, 6x, -6, and x plus 3. And lastly, 6x, -6 over x plus 3.
So, we need to do is check the sign of test points or test values. So we have a given here of x equals -4. We will substitute it to the value of x here in 6x -6, resulting to -30. So we will put a negative here, same with x plus 3, that results to -1. Then to simply solve here, we will multiply both the negative sign which makes a positive sign. Next, we will now substitute the -1, so in 6x -6, we will have a result of -12. In x plus 3, we have a positive 2, so negative times positive is negative. Going to the last value of x, which is 2, so in 6x -6, we have a positive 2. In x plus 3, we have a positive 5. Then in simplest form, positive times positive is positive. Our next presenter is Stephanie.
And last, I am Mrs. Tai to explain the step 4. After making the test value, we will check the given wherein our inequality is less than or equal to 0. So, meaning the left side of our 0 are negative numbers. Therefore, we will choose the negative sign here in last row, in which our final answer is -3 less than x less than 1. To discuss our number 2, here's Miss Romero.
First, we need to rewrite the inequality as a single fraction on the one side and 0 on the other side. So, we are going to transpose the number 2 on the left side of the inequality. So, we have 18x over x plus 4 minus 2 less than 0. Then after, we will rewrite it as a single fraction. So, we know that our denominator is x plus 4. So, x plus 4 divided by x plus 4 is 1. Multiplied by numerator, the answer is 18x. Then we will divide x plus 4 by the denominator of -2, which we know that it has a number 1 here. So x plus 4 divided by 1 is x plus 4 times -2 is -2 times the quantity of x plus 4, then less than 0. Then we will simplify our numerator. Then distribute the -2. -2 times x is -2x, and -2 times positive 4 is -x, and then less than 0. Combining terms, the result is 16x minus 8 over x plus 4 less than 0. To discuss our step 2, here's Miss Arpiada.
After rewriting the inequality as a single fraction, we will now get the critical values. First, we will equate our numerator by 0, same goes to the denominator. Then, solving for x. Since we have 16x and 8, we can transpose this equation. Therefore, we will divide both by 16. 16x divided by 16, cancel both 16, we will now have x. Next is 8 divided by 16. We have 1/2, so our x is equal to 1/2. And for x plus 4 equals 0, we will just transpose this and we will have x equals -4. Here, we have a number line divided into 3 intervals. Next, we will flat out the -4 here on the left side. Then, the positive 1/2 on the right side. As you can see, our critical values divide 3 parts, wherein here is x less than -4, next is -4 less than x less than 1/2, and lastly, x greater than 1/2. To discuss step 3, here's Miss Ginsesana and Miss Benavides.
So now, let's proceed to step 3. We will create a table and write the 3 interval, and after that, write the test value from our interval, which is x equal -5 and x equal -1, and last we have x equal +2. After we get our test value, we need to apply the factors of inequality. We have 16x minus 8, then x plus 4, and lastly 16x minus 8 over x plus 4. And to discuss how to check the sign of test value, here's Miss Gansisana.
After that, we need to do is check the sign of test points or text values. So we have a given here of x equal -5. We will substitute it to the value of x here in 16x -8, resulting to -88. So we will put a negative here, same with x plus 4, that results to -2. Then to simplify, solve here, we will multiply both the negative sign, which makes a positive sign. Next, we will now substitute the -1. So in 16x -8, we will have a result of -24. In x plus 4, we have a +2. So negative times positive is negative. Going to the last value of x, which is 2. So in 16x -8, we have +24. In x plus 4, we have a +6. Then in simplest form, positive times positive is positive. To discuss our step 4, here's Miss Peralta.
After making the test value, we will check the given wherein our inequality is less than 0. So meaning, the left side of our 0 are negative numbers. Therefore, we will choose the negative sign here in last row, in which our final answer is -4 less than x less than 1/2.